Alright, so in my last video I showed you how to divide a unit fraction by a whole number. Today we're going to actually go the other way. We're going to divide a whole number by a unit fraction and see what happens here. So here's my first word problem here. Brian has 3 yards of string. He needs pieces of string that are a half yard long to make pulleys in science class. If Brian uses all 3 yards of string, how many half yard pieces will he have? So if I'm thinking about it, I know he has 3 yards of string, and he needs pieces of string that are a half yard. So he's going to take these 3 yards and he's going to split each yard into a half yard pieces. So he's doing 3 divided by 1/2. So I could draw a model to actually show this problem. So I'm going to draw 3 rectangles actually. Okay, so that represents 1 yard. That represents 1 yard. And that rectangle is going to represent 1 yard. Okay, and I need to make half yard pieces out of each of these yards. So I'm going to split that yard into half, split that yard into half, split that yard into half. So that's a half yard piece. That's a half yard piece, half yard piece, half yard piece, half yard piece, and a half yard piece. So I want to think, now I need to think about what the question is asking me. How many half yard pieces will he have? Well, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half yard pieces. So 3 divided by a half is 6. Okay, let's do another example here. Okay, and again, so some of you, let's just go over these questions real quick before I show you another example. Some of you might be like, your minds might be blown. 3 divided by a half equals 6. My quotient is larger than what I had. When we divide, usually that's not the case. So what happened here? Well, we were trying to figure out how many of the divisor fit into, that should say, into the dividend. So when the divisor is a fraction less than 1, more than one of it can fit into the whole number dividend. Okay, so if I look, I want to know how many times a half can go into 3. Well, 2 halves just makes 1. So it totally makes sense that my answer is going to be larger. Okay, a half can go into 3 6 times. Okay, sorry about that. So let's do another example and continue to think about that idea. So flour usually comes in 5-pound bags. They use 1/3 pound of flour each time they make a batch of pancakes. I don't know who these people are, but they're going to use a third of a pound of flour each time they make a batch of pancakes, okay? So I want to know how many batches of pancakes can the restaurant make with the 5-pound bag of flour. So I know I have 5-pound bags. So I could just think that I have 5 1-pound bags. So I'm going to draw 5 rectangles here. That's 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, and 5 pounds. And they use 1/3 pound each time they make a batch of pancakes. So I'm going to take each of these and I'm going to split into 3 equal parts. So I'm doing 5 pounds. I'm splitting them into 1/3, so 5 divided by 1/3. So I'm going to take that, split into 1/3, into thirds. Split that into thirds. Split that one into thirds. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Sorry, this is going to take me a little bit. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So let's look at that question again. How many batches of pancakes can the restaurant make with the 5-pound bag of flour? Well, I can make a batch here, a batch here, a batch here. So I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can make 15 batches of pancakes with a 5-pound bag. So 5 divided by 1/3 is 15. And again, it makes sense that my quotient's larger than my dividend, what I started with, because I'm trying to figure out how many times does 1/3 go into 5? And 1/3 can go into 5 15 times. Okay, I just proved that with my drawing. Let's just do one more example. Okay, see if I have a journal page example. Okay, so I want to know how many half-pound boxes of nuts can be made from 10 pounds of nuts. So again, my number model would be 10, because that's what I have to split, divided by 1/2. That's how I'm doing it. So 10 divided by a half. Well, I'm going to draw out 10 boxes here. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, 8 pounds, 9 pounds, and 10 pounds, okay? And again, if you're drawing these models, I would encourage you to make these all the same size, okay? So 10 divided by a half. Well, I'm going to take each of those and I'm going to split those in half. So I'm going to say half there, half here. Split this one, half here, half here. Split this, half here, half here. Take this and split this, half here, half here. Split that in half. And you guys are probably getting the idea of this by now. Half here, because I'm really trying to figure out how many times does a half go into 10. Okay, so my quotient should be larger than my dividend, what I started with. Half here, half here, half here, and half here, and a half here. So, how many half-pound boxes of nuts can be made from 10 pounds of nuts? Well, I can make 20 half-pound boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, how many half-pound boxes can you make? I can make 20 half-pound boxes. Okay? Because I'm seeing how many times does a half goes into 10, so it makes sense that my quotient in this case is larger than my dividend, or what I started with. Alright? So again, I hope this helps you divide a whole number by a unit fraction.